And we really like to focus on 4 different values. One is curiosity. And the big idea behind curiosity is that there might be some things that we don't yet know. We might be wrong about some things that we think we do know. Taylor,
Not
elaborate.
not in our well, not at home. At home with my wife, there's very
You're
little I
always
don't
right.
know.
Yeah,
Yeah.
indeed.
Yeah. Yeah. No, it's great. I think oftentimes we come in and we believe that as a leader of a organization, as maybe of my family, and we may not even have this conscious belief, but like I need to know what I'm doing and have the answers. And so we challenge that. We say, hey, what if actually curiosity was the key to unlocking more of your potential? So where could I go? Could I, if we seek to understand before seeking to be understood, is kind of the big habit of highly successful people there. Can I just seek to understand what's going on? So we bring people on the show, and you and I have a lot of curious conversations where we're even questioning our own
That's right.
thoughts, our own beliefs, our own ways of guiding and leading people. Are they the best way? Is there a best way? What would it look like from a different perspective? But curiosity can actually unlock our full potential and figuring out, hey, is there something else that is wanted or needed here that I could do better? So, yeah, I think anything to add on curiosity there, Brett?
No, no. Next one's community. And I think we're gonna talk a good bit about community today on our season 2 kickoff because it's an important part of making our 2025 effective. And to me, community is really about the recognition that um, I am not able to be fully me without other people in my life. Respond to that. How
Mm.
would you unpack community?
Yeah, I mean, without community, I have no mirror. So
Well
without
said.
community, I've got nobody to hold up what I'm doing back to me. So I can live a life that I think is potentially even somewhat fulfilling and all those kind of things, but I think it falls short because we have nobody to basically go, hey, are you actually doing this? We can fall into the lies that we're telling ourselves rather than the current reality of where I really am and encouraging me to get better. Right. So, case in point, you get married, you start living in community. I thought I was pretty much a perfect human and good to go before I did that. Right. And then all of a sudden you realize, like, hey, you know, idiot, maybe you shouldn't eat your Doritos chips on the white couch. That's not so smart. Something I may have missed on my own,
But
you
it
know.
is comfortable. It's
Oh, it's so
it's very
comfortable.
comfortable. Yeah.
God, I just want to eat my chips and leave the crumbs wherever I want. But if I have somebody else in my corner, I can actually figure out, oh, if I don't do that, I need to wash that couch less. I can be more intentional about how and where I choose to eat my chips, and I can be a better version of myself, which I think we both say, our wives who never listen to this podcast would say we're better versions of ourselves because of them. So,
Man, I'm believing season 2 we're gonna get some listens. I feel
nope.
like we're gonna get at least one listen out of the wives.
No, I already talked to her. There's no way
Oh, she
in the
said no.
world.
Oh wow.
Yeah, she just laughed. I was like, "Great, season 2, maybe you'll listen." And, then I told her that on the end of season 1, we talked about how they would be bored in the first 2 minutes and already on Instagram, and she just agreed and left and moved on. So,
Wow.
you know,
That's
yeah, so
that's
community
disappointing.
community is such a base, and I hate that it's a buzzword right now of like, "Oh, man, community," but I do think as a
Has
human.
been.
Yeah, as a human,
Mhm.
as a, spouse at the moment, as wherever we need community in order to grow and thrive. We also do offer a growing community at the Daily Leader podcast, which you can become a part of, and we'll talk more about at different
Oh, good
moments.
shout
But
out. Yeah.
um, yeah, like community is such a significant part of growth and development, and it's also something we stay curious about. So,
Good. Competence. Competence. I define competence as creating the value that only I can create. That's what competence is ultimately about. Sometimes we sort of say, "Oh, competence is your skill sets."
sure.
And that's true. That's the door that gets you into competence, but really competence is about the thing that only Taylor could do. Nobody else in the world can do it. And how do we help Taylor know and understand what that is and how do we help him deliver on it with excellence?
Yep.
That's what I want to be when I think about competence.
Yeah, it's well said. It's well said. What is your gift to the world? How do you live more into that? And you may not get to do it all the time. We've talked about this on season one. You can go back and listen to some of those episodes of like, do I get to live that out in my job? Maybe you do, maybe you don't. But there should be areas of your life where you are getting to really live into the unique way Brad was designed to live. Shane Kuiper, who we've had on a lot, is designed to live. There is
Gotta
a
love
sweet
Shane.
spot where you're swimming in that river, right? And you can either swim against it. You can swim against it, and it's going to be really hard, and you're not going to get as far, or you can swim with it. You know, so yeah, I agree. That's a good definition. And what about clarity, Brad? I think this is a huge one as well
Yeah.
because that's our last one there. Talk to me about clarity.
Yeah. So the door to clarity is vision, and the door to vision is possibility. So if I can't dream and wonder and be inventive and be ultimately curious about what's possible, then I cannot have a vision. And if I can't have a vision, then I can't really get clear on much of anything.
Hmm.
So that's kind of the logic of clarity for me.
Hmm. Yeah. Yeah, that's well said. That's well said. I think you and I both run into a lot of leaders that have some sort of vision, but their vision maybe isn't clear. Maybe it's not big enough. Maybe they're not invested in it enough. Maybe they're not competent enough in terms of their own skill set to know what they really want that vision to be.
That's right.
But part of what we do here, and part of what we care about, is helping those leaders, partnering with them, coming alongside them, so they can get really, really clear. Because if you don't have clarity, chances are you're just going to end up somewhere, and that somewhere may not be where you want to go. You may not end up there. At least you knew if you're really clear. Hey, I didn't end up there. Now I can course correct, right?
Yeah.
But I think
It,
helping
it
them
always,
really
for
clear.
me, Taylor, it goes back to another two C's, which are the Cheshire Cat. If you remember back to Alice in Wonderland, the Cheshire Cat poses an interesting question, right? Or really, Alice poses an interesting question, and the Cheshire Cat basically says, "Hey, like you can go anywhere you want to go, Alice. Like if you don't know where you're headed, any road will take you there, right?" And
Mm-hmm.
so I think that is a very powerful image for me. It's one that I
Mm-hmm.
think about very often because I want to know that I'm not Cheshire catting my way through life, that I'm not just wandering like an aimless person down road after road after road, leading myself nowhere. Now, that's not to say that we can't take the scenic route, that we can't have detours in life. That's not to say that we can't take seasons of life where we really just kind of put pause on the big agenda
Mm-hmm.
and we explore a little bit. The journey is important, and we've discussed this before on Slow Burn. Like, what's more important, the journey or the destination? And the answer is both, right? They're both very important. We can't
Mm-hmm.
really have one without the other. But clarity means that I have purpose. Clarity means that I have a sense of values. Clarity means that I can discern if whether or not I've been successful or effective, and I'm not in a perpetual state of victimhood and just total loss, right?